niggas dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped now. Acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at pistols, causing chaos and play a calypso. Hickory dickory down. Hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get high.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. Let me know how we sounding. Check 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me on the audio. Check 1 2. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check. Oh, it was sounding good on it. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this thing right here. All right. Is we good? Let me know is we good and whatnot. We back in the motherfucking building, y'all. What's popping, huh? Let's talk black. Stop this shit. All right. Sound is in the sound is here. We are in the building. Shout out to everybody up in this biatch. You know I'm talking about, Melanin Mondays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. All right, we are in the building. You know what I'm talking about? Back from the motherfucking underworld. You know what I'm saying? Back from the jungles. Now, I'm just asking y'all respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, I'm going to have the camera off. I'm a little sensitive to the light, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm just chilling in the darkness right now. I'm integrating myself back into society, you know, respectfully, you know what I mean? We're going to do it like that, but we're going to talk that shit. We're going to go through some things. We're going to share some pictures and whatnot. We're going to do the roll call. We're going to get into it tonight. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's do the roll call for the family in the building and whatnot. Let me know if the sound is crispy and whatnot. We want crispy sounds and whatnot. We definitely want crispy sound. I am back into the yes, I am back in assimilation. Neo is back in the motherfucking Matrix. Yes, I'm here. You know what I'm talking about? I'm here, and we are here in the building. You know, we couldn't let another Monday pass without popping out. So here we are, and we are gonna have a very, very interesting build tonight, leading into the rest of the shows that you are going to be blissed with this week and whatnot, or this strong. So let's go with Hawaii first. Hawaii in the building. Man, oh man. Shout out to Hawaii. Shout out to everybody that literally lives in paradise. Do not let anyone of any type of descent ever in their life try to tell any one of us where paradise is. That should be defined. Paradise is a state of mind. We know this. But paradise, the state called paradise, that cannot be defined by people who are not from it. Those of us who come from islands, those of us who have descent from islands, namely Caribbean islands, African islands or nations and whatnot, it's time for us to redefine what the hell paradise is. Because I just came from motherfucking paradise. And to certain people, they might not deem that to be paradise, but boy, oh boy, this is paradise. I promise you. The living world. And what does that mean? That means that if you exist in some type of environment that is literally alive, like when you go outside, you can hear the symphony of the insects and the animals and the flora and the fauna and everything is alive. That is a living world, okay? Some people don't even know what that shit even looks like, man. San Jose in the building. We got Philly in the building. Philly, we had 4 Philly brothers who came through to the emergence and spent 10 days in the jungle with us and whatnot. Shout out to, this was North Philly and whatnot. Shout out to the Philly family. We was definitely locking in with the Philly fam, and we locked in for life. North Las Vegas in the building. We got Little Rock. We got Milwaukee and whatnot. Halito. All right, Milwaukee. Cincinnati, Ohio. North Las Vegas. We got Houston in the building. Bangkok, Thailand in the building. I mean, Dylon in Thailand. Wilmington, Delaware in the building. Indianapolis, Arizona. Cabo, Mexico. Olivehurst, California. I never heard of that. Baltimore in a building. I'm talking about Greenville, Mississippi. Greenville, Mississippi. Kenner City, Lincoln Manor. Yo, intricate mode. I seen you in the gym. And you know what the gym is? The gym is when you get in front of that microphone and you start exercising your right. You know what I mean? So salute to you. We definitely we fans and whatnot. Yeah, we want to see the full video. Let's go. Queens in the building. Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Spartansburg. You dig? The volcano just erupted for which one in Hawaii? Okay, Erie, Pennsylvania in the building. Shout out to Erie. Shout out to Ann Arbor. Y'all got a lot of boxes that come out of Ann Arbor. Babylon, UK. New Bedford, Mississippi. We got Nashville in the building. Los Angeles, Crenshaw. It wouldn't be right if we ain't have Crenshaw. Shout out to Crenshaw in the building. It's definitely time for a West Coast visit. That is a super fact. That is a Snapple fact. What y'all got going out there so we could pull up? Memphis, Tennessee in the building. Shout out to Memphis. Shout out. Okay, London at 5 a.m. on a what's up on a rising and ting and ting. My new wake up hours are 5 a.m. So we're gonna be in here for a little while. Then I got a dip. You know what I'm talking about? I just got off of a 5-hour flight. Coming in from Bogota and whatnot, fresh out of LA Fitness. Yeah, I'm about to spend my life in the gym. That's one of my new what do you call that? I was in this bitch signing contracts in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? I was in the spirit realm signing contracts for real, for real. It's some shit that I sign contracts to that I literally have to stand by. So the gym is definitely one of them. You know what I mean? I think I might link up with Blue Pill and just make it right. You know what I'm saying? So I'll keep everybody informed. I'll let y'all know. Champaign, Illinois. We got West End in the building. And I'm talking about Hawaii in the building. LA, Cali in a building. You already know what it is. Golden Age. The Mississippi Delta. Okay. Puma mode. So let's start this conversation off with, because there's a lot of things that have been happening. I don't think that we're going to cover everything tonight. You do have Iceman Cometh Part 3 on the way. It is not tonight, but Iceman Cometh Part 3, thrice. We will be rolling that out this strong. I'm going to pick a day. I might even have a special guest for that right there, because that conversation has definitely the ice did not melt. The ice did not melt. It actually got frozen, and then we had an ice storm. So the ice didn't melt. They killed Pretty, and then they killed the other one. What's the other one's name? It was Pretty Nice. You know what I'm talking about? They killed Pretty Nice. You know what I mean? And people unsuspectingly have played right into their hands, and now ice is a household boogeyman, right? It's a household boogeyman name. Okay, so the winter is here. Okay, the winter is here, and the White Walkers is walking. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, it was a whole ice storm that blanketed the USA. What was it? They canceled my flight, had me stuck in the goddamn jungle and whatnot. Wasn't a bad feeling, but yeah, they canceled my flight. I wasn't even able to make it to Atlanta. I was supposed to pull up to the 3-man show. You know what I mean? I hope nobody got upset about that. But you know, I can't control the motherfucking airwaves, so they had me stuck in the jungle, rebooked my flight, and now I'm home. And it is what it is. We here now, and I was homesick. To be honest with you, I was like, I needed to get home. I was missing my family. You know, 1 million out of power. Oh Lord, oh my goodness. 1 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know? No heater, you know? You don't got no space heater and whatnot. Damn. It's crazy. I got off the airplane and they said it was 23 degrees in Atlanta. Did you hear that? 23 degrees. And man, I don't even remember ever being 23 degrees in Atlanta. But I got off the damn airplane to 23 degrees. And I'm like, okay, this is what we doing. I'm not mad at that. We just gonna thug it out and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We from New York, so we used to the cold. We just gonna have to put on layers and whatnot. But yeah, we're here. Um, so definitely we got the ice show coming up. Another show that we have coming up. I'm gonna be doing a panel. And this panel is gonna consist of a group of individuals who have been traveling around the world. I want Mama Pill in the building. I want KT the Arch Degree in the building. I also want Blue Pill in the building. I'm going to be in the building. I'm going to bring some other people who are part of my network who have been moving around globally. And we're going to have a panel discussion about the global traveler, right? The pros and cons of the global traveler. Man, oh man, did I learn some things on this trip right here. I promise you. There was pros and there was mother effing cons. I'm not, it wasn't all, you know what I'm talking about? It wasn't all hokey dory, as they say. There's a lot that we will have to discuss. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to be discussed. It's not gonna be tonight. One of the main things that I would say is they not feeling niggas outside of America. In South America, in Latin America. I don't know about I Show Speed in Africa. That might be where the love is at, but there is a very we gotta have the conversation, bro. We gotta have the conversation, man. Oh, somebody said the harp is going crazy. They freezing the Leviathan, right? The harp is freezing the Leviathan. They got dragons about to remember we was talking about them dragons earlier. Remember we was talking about them dragons? Huh? That shit is real now. You seen it, right? You seen a Leviathan? You seen the head of the Leviathan is waking up? They had to freeze it. Yeah. Shit is real. Shit is real. I don't know what the Passport Bros did. This is what it is. If you want to ask what it is, this is what I think it is. Latin America is not like Africa. Latin America is a whole paradise, right? That was either taken or inherited by multiple groups of people that are not us. Something happened in South America, Latin America, Central America, and the Moors or people who look like us fell from power. The church took over and they handed the reins of power to their children or people who basically crossed us, right? Those people, okay, are considered in certain places a buffer race, right? A buffer race. And that buffer race is going to work hand in hand, and they are, of course, being controlled by the conquistadors. Okay. The conquistadors are tapped in to whatever Donald Trump is on. The same way the NBA young boy was like, yo, I'm he said his movement is called Make America Slime Again. Massa, right? Like master, like massa. That's what NBA young boy, who arguably is the biggest artist in all of hip hop right now, he controls a standing army of probably about 50 million youth, right? All YNs with the ski masks. he did an interview and they was like, yo, what does massa stand for? He said, whatever Trump is on, I'm on. We pushing that line. What? Whatever Trump is on, you pushing that. So these people out of town, they on the same shit too. They on massa. So whereas the racism was a little bit veiled in the Biden administration because of their inclusivity, in different nations around the world will pick up on those signals when the Democrats is running shit. It's like treat niggas good, but we're gonna cut them on the back end. We're gonna chop their heads on the back end. We're gonna shut them out on the back end. But because the sentiment or the global policy or the global sentiment based off of what the White House is on, they like, nah, Black Lives Matter. That's what that shit represented. But with Trump and him canceling DEI and them with Mark Rubio and them blatantly, like the signals that they're sending out is very clear to all of their buffer people around the world. We don't fuck with these niggas. And it's okay to not fuck with these niggas right now. And you either gonna get down with us, and it's very clear as to who us is, and it's very clear as to what us is about. You either gonna get down with us or you're gonna be with the losing team. That's the energy that I was seeing. When I tell you, them people was looking at me in these airports like I was a gremlin, like I did not belong in the airport. And to be honest with you, and I raised this question, I asked Ghost and a few other. I was like, where are the melanated people in the fucking airport? I was in Bogota. I might have counted 10 black people in about 3 hours. Where are the melanated? And then people be like, oh nah, you gotta go to Cartagena. No, nigga. Why y'all not everywhere though? What the fuck? Why is everybody always why is there African towns and these little pockets? They got niggas on off roads where only niggas are at. No. Where's the integration? Where are our people at in the airports doing business, going places? Where they at? I don't see them. And the ones that I see, they ice grilling. I'm like, family, hermano, mi gente. They don't do that mi gente shit. They not on that mi gente shit. Okay? They are not on that mi gente shit. That's what I saw. I could be wrong. I saw a show with Rich on 363 Empire with the Duke of Tears, and he said that South America is Alhambra, right? He said that South America is Al-Andalus. I'm sorry, is Al-Andalus, which is the Moorish Empire. And I could see that. But I'm here to let you know that that empire has been completely crushed and buried underneath the boots of the conquistador, because that's who's running that shit. And to be honest with you, they're running it to the degree to whereas when you're in their country, you got to kind of watch how you know what I mean? You could move how you want to move, but you got to watch how you move because your ass could come up missing out there. That's a fact. And I would love to see a group of brothers, from these nations and whatnot, especially the Moors. I want them to go and they need to touch grass. That internet shit cool. You gotta touch grass. You gotta go out there and activate the grid, fam. But I would highly suggest that you do not go out there with an arrogant Americanized version of how you just gonna walk through somebody's country and just talk whatever you want. No, papi, not over there. They disappearing. They disappearing, niggas. And there's rich and then there's poor. I did not see the in between, and I was told by a lot of people there is no in between, and I got to see that. I'm like, God damn, you know what I mean? They got them. They got these. You know what I'm saying? They got our people in a very compromised position in some of these places. I ain't go everywhere. I didn't go everywhere. I just moved around a few places, and I and my senses picked up on some things. My subconscious picked up on a lot of shit. I was able to just drive. I'm riding around and I'm observing the environment. I'm observing my surroundings. And then when you get in these international airports, you really begin to see the swing of things. You feel me? I had on my Garvey. I wore the Garvey with the big Africa. They was looking at that Africa shit like I was wearing the motherfucking swastika around them, bro. They was looking at this Africa hoodie like your boy had on. I felt good, but you know when they say that you could feel people throwing shit at you, and I just came off of the Aya. I did 10 days. I'm very sensitive to all type of shit right now. I'm integrating back into what they call the matrix. I was in the airport loopy, bro. I ain't gonna keep it a buck. I was in the airport, but the Aya, what it kind of did is it just had me in like defense, like my shield was up because I'm feeling a lot of energy, right? So the energy that they're throwing at me is like, you know, arrogant American. You know what I'm saying? Because you know me, I'm walking through that bitch with my head. I got the Timbs on, my head is high. I'm ice grilling them too. I'm looking them in their eyes like, fuck you looking at? You all right? You good? You cool? What you want? What you want? You know what I'm saying? No English though. The minute I say no, I mean no speak, no speak Espanol. Oh man, oh man, you're nobody when you don't speak Spanish over there. So my thing is this: I cannot wait. And I told my wife this when she was pick me up. I said, man, I got about 5. Oh no, me don't speak no English. I got about 5 of those in me. I'm gonna get them all off probably tomorrow and whatnot. Don't, man, the get back is crazy. You know what I'm talking about? The get back is gonna be crazy. Cause they was they was going in on me, boy. Laughing at the kid. You know what I'm talking about? They was giving me the gringo tax and whatnot. There was this one lady. At first, she was like, the shit was $9. I go to the ATM, I come back, she was like, it's $90. Family, you're not gonna play with me like this. Like, y'all gonna stop playing with me in my face. I need some technology. Oh, wait till you see me in Atlanta. Somebody gonna run up on me. No, me not speaking no English. I don't know. Don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? The get back is gonna be crazy. But they are not playing with this gringo shit outside the borders. You gotta bring, what was my nigga who was the interpreter for the what was Lewis and Clark? You niggas need a Lewis with you. You gotta have an interpreter. Snatch one of these little Venezuelans off they got migrants in New York and other places. Bring them with you. Yeah, they was trying to fleece the god. I might have got caught about 4 times. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I might have got caught about 4 times. You know what I'm talking about? I'm about to go look at my bank statement, but I definitely got caught a few times. You know what I'm talking about? The cab costs as much as the Airbnb. I'm going to just leave it at that. You know? The cab ride costed it as much as the Airbnb. And at first I was like, damn, you know, I'm thinking that we doing New York prices. Come to find out, no, nigga, you're in Bogota. They're not paying New York prices in Bogota. These niggas was like, I want 90,000 pesos. I was like, damn, that's really $9. Niggas was like 90,000 pesos. I'm like, for some water, fam, 90,000. That's what we doing. Can you add that up? The fuck? So yeah, the whole money exchange shit, you gotta have somebody that's gonna help you with that. You don't fuck Duolingo. Bring a Mexican with you. Just pay the extra tax on the ticket. Bring him or her with you because you're going to need a pocket-sized Mexican. You're going to need somebody you could just pull out of a bag to talk for you. You know what I'm saying? You got put a nigga in your book bag or something. Or if you make an app, if there's some app designers out there, fam, don't even go to sleep tonight. make some shit that is better than whatever is out there. Cause man, do we need that? We need that, man. It's crucial out there. You never been somewhere where nobody speaks English. I arrived in the airport and I just try to spark up a little conversation, and they was like, no speaking, no, no, no. And they was saying it like with like they was saying it like gangster, like no, nah, like English was like English is illegal, like it was like it's a virus. You got the AirPods. Then I can't get the whole shit with the SIM card and all of that. No Wi-Fi or no my minutes wasn't working. Yeah, I was using Google Translate, but sometimes you don't even have Wi-Fi. It was real, but I got through it. I managed. You know, I did. I managed. It was okay. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot on this trip. I just did. I definitely learned a lot. You are a mark. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. The minute you can't speak, now I understand New York a little bit better. I'm like, oh, that's why they was catching niggas outside in New York back in the days, because the minute you, hey, what's up, Poppy? Oh no, we don't speak no English. Oh, you don't speak no English and you're in Brownsville? Oh yeah, come over here. Yeah, come. Let me show you something. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. When I was in Harlem and they was doing them foreigners and them tourists like that, I see it. Now I'm in their country and I'm the nigga that was getting played with in Harlem where they try to play with me and whatnot. And I'm like, listen, fam, we're not about to do that. I'm out here recording niggas. You know what I'm saying? I got I had my phone with the voice recorder on in my pocket, and I just let them niggas go off. Yeah, talk your shit. But when I go home and I translate that shit, nigga, you better not be saying nothing, because I'm coming back. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you too, mommy. I'm coming back. Cause y'all laughing and shit. Y'all talking real fast. You know? Y'all talking real fast. I wish I knew about all of these apps. I got on a plane butt ass naked, bro. I wish I knew about all this shit. I learned about this shit in the airport. You know what I mean? I didn't know about none of this. Cause look, I'm in Puerto Rico. That is an American colony. I'm in Puerto Rico. It's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? People are bilingual. They're doing Duolingo out there. But then I get on the plane. I go 4 hours. And then when I land in Bogota, even the signs is in Espanol. I'm taking pictures of shit, telling ChatGPT, what the fuck does that say? You know what I'm saying? Everything is in Spanish. Then I go in to get something to drink. The mango juice is in Spanish. I go to the bag check. That's in Spanish. I want to go get a taxi. They didn't have Lyft out there. I'm like, what's going on? But then I seen the Airbnb was $30. So when I saw that, I should have known. You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You're not in America. The Airbnb is $30, nigga. So everything should be less than $30. And that was not the case. Niggas was like, yo, this is $70. And I was like, hey, hold that. Paying the motherfucking gringo tax. You know? So that's just a little. I'm gonna bring the panel together. Is this your first international trip? This is my first trip to where niggas no speaker, no English. I will go, you know what I'm saying? I should have been running with speed. I show in Africa, them niggas speak English. And the worst you got is French. But my man's in them in Ghana, they got the broken English, but it's still English. You know what I'm saying? I never heard no speaker, no English when speed and through Africa. Here it is. I'm fucking around with Juan Valdez and these niggas with Juan Valdez and not realizing they're not on timing. They are not on timing. They want to stay with the Spaniards. You know what I'm saying? They cool with the Spanish shit. And the minute I brought up the Moors, you should have seen their face. They are not feeling the shit that we are on. I'm just here to let you know. Do not run around espousing shit that you don't have The motherfucker, you better have some. I'm telling you, play with them conquistadors, play with them Spaniards, play with them niggas if you want. Them Jesuits and all of them. Play with them in a country that they done slaughtered the Moors, bro, and raped their women, bro. I'm just keeping it a buck. It's not no game over there. They took that shit with force. You know what I mean? They got songs about killing Moors, bro. They got songs about killing Moors. You feel me? They got songs about that shit. They dance to that stuff, bro. Okay? And then they are locked in with with Spain. They're locked in with Portugal. They locked in with all of the places that toppled the empire. And they know what's going on. And when you know what's going on, they like, what's up? So what Spirit showed me, yeah, they're very hardcore Catholics. What Spirit showed me was that they slaughtered all of the men, right? They slaughtered all of the men, especially the melanated ones. And the women are the ones who bore the brunt of everything that happened. The same way that the European women bore the brunt of the Moors in Spain, or when the Moors ran through Europe, the European women, they bore the brunt of that. So their get back was the melanated, what they call the negrita. They bore the brunt of when the church ran down and sacked the empire, because they have breeded out a lot of the quote unquote people where they've breeded out they breeded out a lot of that Moorish blood out of the people and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Um and they got out, yeah, like, yeah, I was in a small area, Putumayo, right? Now I did the research on Putumayo because Spirit was telling me, man, there's something on this island, or there's something going on, and it was mentioned, but I had to go to that. I had to do the research to make sure that it wasn't just hearsay. So Putumayo, back in the cocaine cowboy days, or back in the Pablo days, was a very intricate place because you got the rainforest, you got it's three borders: it's Peru, it's Ecuador, and it's Colombia, right? So they was doing, that's a narco state right there. That was a narco state. The minute I landed, I ain't never seen no shit like this before. The minute I landed in that airport, I walked right out and the army was there. Deep. The army. They don't have no handguns. They had them big boys on them. It was about 100 of them. And the army dudes was Indians. Just think about that. They look like sicarios and whatnot. It looked like they looked like they was like that copper tone Incan, Aztecian, Indian phenotype. And they got them in fatigues and whatnot with the big AR-15s and the big boy guns on them, M16s and all of that, right? You feel me? And then in the cab driver, I say, y'all can take a picture of them. And no. He said that shit like no, nigga, no, gringo. What the fuck? Do not point your camera at no army dudes. Yeah, with the shiesty on and all of that. He was like, don't do it. They not playing. They don't want to hear nothing about you visiting and all. He said, get in the cab, bro. I jumped in that bitch and we went 2 hours on an incline. Y'all been to LA Fitness? Sis says you just came back from LA Fitness, right? You know how the incline machines work, right? So in a place like Putumayo, which is literally at the foothill of the Andes, let's write this down because I will love, damn, let me see. Because I got it on this phone right here, but I'm using this phone as a microphone. I want to give y'all some of the research about the foothill of the Andes. Let me see if I could pull it up on my desktop. This is some interesting shit. The Andes Mountains is a site that I never had beholded in my life before. I never seen something so magnificent and majestic ever in my life until the other day. When I tell you the biggest mountains that I've ever seen in my entire 50 years, I'm just letting you, this shit was crazy. When I say humongous, I mean humongous. Like, it don't even make no sense how big these mountains are. So when we talk about the Andes Mountains, there's literally 3 different aspects of this mountain that I want you to know about. And this mountain, these mountain ranges go all the way into Peru. They go all the way, I believe, into Honduras. They go all the way in Colombia, right? Way taller than Stone Mountain. That they made Stone Mountain, bro. They made Stone Mountain look like the little bro. You know how we climbed Stone Mountain? If you were to climb the Andes Mountains, we would have to get at you by the end. You have to get back to us by the end of the year. Like, yeah, I'm up there at the end of the year. You're not climbing up there in one day. You probably couldn't even reach where the camp was at, where we was at in one day. Because that was 2 hours in a cab going straight up. I'm talking about incline. Like, if I had something in the front of the seat of the cab, the shit was gonna come back to where I was at. We was going all the way up. And then they told me, you're at the foothill of the Andes. I said, what you mean? They said, you're at the foothill. I said, explain it to me. They was like, nigga, you're at the bottom of the mountain. Huh? What? We're at the bottom? You're at the bottom. Family, what the fuck is at the top? I'm about to get on this plane and go back home. What is up there? They was like, you don't want to know. Nigga, I want to know. What's up there? They said the gods. I said, shit. Amen. Let us pray. You know what I mean? Let us pray. Because what we're dealing with, damn, let me see something. I might need to switch mics. Pause. I got to get y'all this information. Hold on. Let me see something. Can you hear me on this microphone? Can you hear me on this microphone? The gods. We good? Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Boom. All right. Let's get some research on. Let's get a little bit of research about the Andes Mountains. I'm talking about mind blown, right? Mind blown. Okay. So we got 3 levels of these mountains. Okay. So you have the foothills of the mountains, right? Which is, it's mystical. It has mystical properties and everything. There's a lot of historic mysticism attached to it. However, when you go up that mountain into the plateaus and whatnot, into the plateaus of that bitch, oh, it's a lot of different stuff. But let me slow it down. Let's slow it down. Matter of fact, let me put a picture up there. Okay, let me put a picture up there to give you a little bit of. This was us in the This was us in the camp. I'm gonna go back into some pictures right now. I'm not gonna let me take the pictures away because it's gonna distract from the whole mountain shit. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me give you a picture of the mountain. Hold on, give me a minute because I took a few pictures of the mountain. I mean, it was mystical, and I'm not, we talk mystical shit here and there. I don't want to get y'all all lost on the mystical talk and everything because y'all wasn't there with me. You know what I mean? But just know from me, I'm not out here capping. When I say mystical, I'm talking about when I was observing that shit, there was something going on mystically in my heart. I was like, you're looking at some shit that's different. Like, this is not it made me really ask questions, and I had to go to the AI to get some answers and whatnot. But I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and mind you, we was, this is not a part of our journey. This wasn't really a part of our overall. So that's one part of the mountains in the background, right? But you see where you see clouds, you might not see it, but the mountains are up there with the clouds. You might not see it, but family, the mountains are in the clouds. There was mountains, right? There was mountains that went into the cloud and it didn't stop. I'm asking the cab, I'm like, yo, slow down. What the fuck is going on? Like, where's this shit going up into? So boom, there's one mountain in the front right there. Then there's another mountain behind it. Then there's another mountain behind it. But then there's another mountain behind that. These niggas said mountains or mountains or it's mountains or mountains or mountains. Like, what? Let's not even talk about the mounds that I was seeing. So we may have a small case of some hidden pyramids or something. I don't know. I need Ross Ben on the case. We got to bring the OG and all of them out this bitch, because I need my archaeologists to crack these codes. Something is going on, and they're hiding some shit. But anyway, let's get into some information about the mountains so we can have, because y'all just like, man, this nigga's, he been taking too much medicine. He's out here talking about mountains and shit. All right, so they have, of course, is the Andes Mountains. So you have Andean culture. Okay. So the Andean culture deals with the fact that, you know, the plants are everything. The plants are everything. Okay. Mountains are called apus or apus. APUS, right? APU. Hold on. My bad. Hold on. So the mountains is like a stairway to heaven. Okay. The mountains are called apus or apus, right? And they are protective spirits. They are ancestors. They are controllers of weather, fertility, and fate, right? And they are intermediaries between humans and cosmic forces, right? Okay. So in different parts of these of different countries and whatnot, remember it spans different countries. So different countries have different tribes who see these mountains through different lenses based off of the plants, the sacred plants that they interface with, that get them in touch with the deities and the power that these mountains hold. And of course, the entities, the deities, the fairies, the bruh. So Apu, Asan Gate or Aswan Gate, that's in Peru, and that's associated with glaciers, water, and renewal, right? So different ones have different properties. And then you have Apu, Alamani, and that's in Bolivia, and that's the protector of La Paz. And then you have in Ecuador, Apu Chimborazo, and that's the masculine counterpart to the feminine mountains like Tongaruya. Okay. So you have masculine mountains and then you have feminine mountains, right? So the mountaintops, the summits, right? The mountaintops, the summits. Martin Luther King said, I made it to the mountaintops. Remember that? The summit of the mountains where Moses came down from. Okay. So many Andean cultures, many Andean peaks functions as axis mundi, right? Axis mundi, Mundi, axis. Let me write this down so we could look up these words and whatnot, because we this is a lesson. This is some deep shit, I promise you. Okay? Because somebody is going to listen to this and they're going to go and take these trips and whatnot. And when I tell you that these trips are life-changing, paradigm shifting, right? But what I want to tell you is this is how I was able to survive this journey that I was just on. I didn't have any expectations when I went on a trip. One. Two, I always had to remind myself, nigga, you're on your own trip. Two, I'm not worrying about what nobody is doing. I ain't worried about what nobody is on. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm worried about me and my trip and my experience, because I brought myself out here. So this is my personal trip. You got to have that type of mind state, because you could be worrying about a bunch of other shit that don't got nothing to do with you. I was with 60 people on this trip, right? And I only knew one person. Out of all of the 60 people, I only knew one person. So at the end of the day, I had to keep reminding myself, family, you're here on your own fruition. Focus on you and focus on what the fuck you here to do. You're a researcher. They're not. You're looking, when you look at something, the same thing that another person will look at, they're not seeing what you're seeing. And it's not my job to be telling nobody what the fuck I'm seeing. I'm seeing shit and I'm recording it and I'm writing it down. I'm bringing this shit back to the family. They go, man, I wish when Casanet stopped streaming, he gave me his book bag and I had the streaming bag, and I'll show you niggas I could go live. I didn't have it though. Casanet didn't leave me his streaming setup. He went mad moist and just kept it to himself. You know? Axis Mundi concept. Okay. So we have something called Hana Pacha, right? So we all know about, I don't know if we all know about it, but Pachamama, right? Pachamama came through to me on Friday. I'm going to get to that. Pachamama came through to me. Pachamama is the earth, right? Pachamama is Mama Earth. Pachamama, right? So they talk about the Pacha, right? So Hanan Pacha is the upper world, which is the celestial realm, okay? Remember, these mountains take you into the upper realms, right? These mountains are the summits. So if you get to the summit of this mountaintop, my nigga, you in the upper realms. This is the stairways to heaven, right? This is literally the stairways to heaven. Okay, not on top of the shit in Dubai, not on top of the Empire State Building. No, where the sky and the earth meets. I seen it with my own eyes. Nobody, like, I had to see it. Fuck seeing it on Google. I had to see it in real life. And when I seen it, it shifted me. Yes, the upper room. You feel me? The upper room. So check this out. So you have the Hanan Pacha, which is the upper world in the celestial realm. You have the K Pacha, Kay, which is this world. Hey. And then you have the Uka Pacha, which is the underworld or the inner underworld. Okay. Mountaintops were believed to receive messages from the sky, transmit offerings to the gods, and anchor cosmic order. So they are doing rituals on top of the mountains to send that bitch up to the gods. They are offering the gods some type of rituals. Is it a goat? I don't know. I wasn't up there. Is it 72 virgins? I don't know. I really don't. But I do know that they're doing offerings to the motherfucking gods on the mountaintops. The same way that me and Blue Pill in 2010, we went to Stone Mountain, and then there was a sign that said do not enter, and we was like, well, we're dyslexic, both of us. Well, that shit says to enter. So we went inside of the do not enter, and we went further into the mountain, and they had mad altars set up on Stone Mountain. They had stone altars set up where they were sacrificing shit. Yeah. So even in Stone Mountain, at the top of that mountain, they're doing sacrifices to the gods. High altitude rituals. Okay. Capacocha. Capacocha, right? Capacocha. Okay. Um, so they found on these mountaintops high altitude rituals, right? Frozen ritual offerings they came across. They found frozen ritual offerings. They found gold, silver, right? And the cowrie shells or the spondylus shells or spondylus shells, right? Carefully dressed children placed in trance states. I'm going to repeat that. And I seen carefully dressed children when I was in Putumayo in ceremony. Carefully dressed children placed in trance states. I seen little children drinking the ayahuasca. I'm not gonna blow it up, you know what I'm saying? Because that's schedule 1. So we're not gonna talk about it like that. We're gonna say that they was drinking the mud. Yeah, I seen little children drinking the mud. Okay. Um, I believe Apocalypto touched on some of this shit, but I remember in Apocalypto they wasn't in the top of they wasn't in the mountains like that. So they have the mummies, right? They have I don't know how to pronounce it. I gotta hit up Casanet. We're gonna read together, me and that little nigga. We gotta take reading together because I be chopping these words. I might have to do I might have to get up with I might be a new member of me and Casanet gonna fly Casanet and Casanet gonna be reading live and shit so we get these words right. You know? But they got these mummies and whatnot that they found up there, and that was the proof of the ritual offerings and whatnot. So then you have the foothills. So I gave you the summit, I gave you the mountaintop. We're gonna talk about the foothills now. The foothills of the Andes are arguably more important than the summits. Did you hear that? The foothills. This is where I was at, ladies and gentlemen. The foothills of the Andes, right, are arguably more important than the summits. They function as transition zones between worlds, agricultural and ceremonial corridors, trade, pilgrimage, and migration routes. Mystical significance of the foothills, right? The oldest person is found in the Andes. Talk black to me. Look, we had a shaman come through, or what they call a taita, 134 years old, on guard. The taita came, he looked like a straight jaguar on everything. They was like, yeah, he be turning into jaguar and whatnot. 134 years old. And nobody had to walk him around and hold him up. He was walking around doing the ritual, doing the ceremonies and all that. 134. All right. So the mystical significance of the foothills. That's where spirits descend and ascend. Now, no, I'm dead ass. 134 and everything. Look, the first night I did the ceremony, right? I did 4 ceremonies when I was out there. I was out there for like 9 days, and I did 4 ceremonies. And in between the ceremonies was other ceremonies, right? But the muddies, I did the muddy drink 4 times. The second time that I did it, the shit came to me and was like, yo, I'm not even gonna say what it said, but it said that spirits go to the mountaintop, right, to make their exit. And I was like, this is before I saw the Andes Mountains. I'm putting it together right now. Like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, this is before I actually witnessed the mountains. But the shit came to me and said that the spirits descend to the mountaintops. So in my mind, I'm thinking about Coco. I'm like the movie Coco, because literally some of these people are Incan and Aztec. They are looking like Granny from Coco with the, they're looking like Granny from Coco. This is my grandfather. First of all, This is my mother's father. This is Lloyd Thomas. He is a famous calypso singer called Prince out of the Virgin Islands, St. Croix to be exact, right? This is my mama's father, okay? And he was coming through very heavy in this whole situation because they go to Indy. This is the Taita right here, the dude in the middle with all of the this just dressed up and whatnot. And right next to him, the lady, she's even more powerful than him, right? And that's his daughter right there, right? So of course you see the Indian lineage and in the background and whatnot, right? So my grandfather, who's from the islands, he was coming through mad strong, and he was the one who was kind of like helping me out understand certain things because remember, they not really feeling us like that in these places. They're not really feeling the negritos like that. They don't know what we on like that. They look at us very suspicious. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Everybody around the world has a visual depiction of who we are. Everybody around the world they've received a letter in the mail about who the fuck we are before we even got there. Okay. They calling a nigga, they calling me Snoop Dogg. I'm like, really? Okay, you want me to be Snoop? I'm Snoop Lion. I could be Snoop Lion. You know, I do have family in South Carolina. That's on my father's side. You know, we have to reintroduce ourselves. I don't know how. We really do. Those of us who are standing on integrity, standing on a certain level of history, and standing on our ancestors' shoulders, we can't allow the passport bros will not do the job that we need to be done with cleaning up our image around the world. We can't leave it to I show speed. The shame of these old ass niggas, y'all put it on the shoulders of a 20-year-old. You see how that works? Everybody's sitting around, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's sitting around and they're like, yo, I show speed this, I show speed that, right? And it's like, okay, well, what the fuck are you doing? You got a little 20-year-old running around changing the perception of the Black American around the world, but there's millions of Black Americans that should be doing the same thing. Why are you putting that on the shoulders of a 20-year-old? That's crazy to me. You know? That's crazy to me. Everybody sitting around, yeah, you just sitting around watching the young boy when you niggas could get on a plane and do something. And what you could do, you don't have to do a lot. Nobody's asking you to, you're not gonna do, the revolution will not be televised. You're not gonna you need to just clean up the image. Okay, you are Thomas. All right. So this is Lloyd Thomas, right? This is Lloyd Thomas, and we from St. Thomas. Yeah, St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John's, which is the triplet islands. And we got family on all the three of the islands because you literally could take a boat to all three of the islands, right? So I just had to bring that up. You feel me? I don't want to veer off of what we were talking about, the topic. Let's still cover the topic, but I had to just bring that up. Let's just put this picture right here, right? So this is me. This is one of our guides right there for Putumayo. He was the brother. He has a spot with parrots and whatnot in the waterfalls, and then that's Ghost right there out of Brooklyn. That was my guide. That was the guide that brought me to the mountains and whatnot. So this is a picture of us, right? And we was just chilling or whatever. So and this is the day when I saw the mountains. So they said that the spirits, the dead spirits of the deceased, right, wherever they're from, even spirits, the spirit, the Spirit told me that it don't matter where the spirits are from, that the spirits descend. It's not like spirits only from Putumayo descend to the mountaintop of the Andes. It said all spirits go to that mountaintop. That's what it was telling me. That all of the spirits are descending at the top of those mountaintops of the whole Andes. The Andes is big, right? So it's like all of the spirits that leave the body, they go to the mountaintop and they ascend into the heavens. Okay, boom. So the mystical significance of the foothills, that's where the spirits descend and they ascend. So spirits also come down into the foothills. Henceforth, why the taitas or the quote unquote shamans, they get possessed, they get mounted. The spirits will come down, right? They look everywhere that I rode around. You saw jaguars on the wall. You saw not tigers. You saw the jaguar. They're real big on the jaguar out there. They're real big on the big cat and whatnot. And there's always this talk about the shamans turning into the tigers or the shamans turning into the jaguars. And I actually came across on the third day. It was the third day. I went into they making all of this thing. Oh, the big shaman is coming. Da, 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 da. So apparently, if anybody saw the documentary that they had on Amazon, there was a documentary about a shaman who went into the Amazon jungle, turned into a jaguar, and found these children that got kidnapped by, I believe it was the rebels. I think it was the FARCs, right? And he turned into a jaguar and he rescued the children. That's the dude that was giving me a reading, and he gave me a clearing. He cleared my spirit, he cleared my energy up and whatnot in a ceremony and whatnot. I sat with him. You feel me? I sat with him, and I'm bringing him up because they was like, yeah, it's documented that he turned into a jaguar. He's on Amazon Prime, nigga. I was like, God damn. And we went into a room because he was like, he's doing private readings, and then he's doing private cleaning and everything. A little $30. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, a whole lot. You know what I mean? I've done more with $30 than I've done less. You know what I'm talking about? And when I went in the room, it was him. It was another dude. His the shamans be having a shaman apprentice, and then there was an interpreter, right? Somebody that could interpret, because like I say, nobody speaks English and they don't want to speak English. So the apprentice had the cigars like how Rich got, right? So as he's doing the readings, they're reading the cigar ashes, bro. I never seen no shit like that before. So it's pitch dark in there, right? And they I'm talking to him, and homie is right next to me blowing a cigar. Boom, boom, boom. So then I ask him a question, they'll interpret it, he'll give them the answer, then they'll tell me. And no, I ask him the question, he'll sit with it for a minute, and then homie with the cigar will show him the cigar. He's looking in the cigar, he's reading the cigar ashes and everything, and then he'll be like, yeah, this is what's going on. And when I say that he was on point with the shit that he was telling me, on point like a dagger and an arrow. Anyway, the foothill of the mountains is where the shamans conduct vision quests, right? So when the shamans are becoming shamans, they have to leave the village. Yeah, reading the fire. They have to leave the village and they have to go into isolation, which means they go into the jungle or they go into the forest and they go isolate themselves in deep into the jungle and whatnot. Then they have to abstain from sex. Then there's something called the dieta, right? Or the dieta, right? Where they cannot be eating the quote unquote flesh. Now, one of the things about this camp where I was at right here, they was eating the flesh. Okay. They was busting the motherfucking flesh down. They was eating the flesh. Okay. They was eating the flesh, bro. So I don't know what that's about, right? They had the vegan options, but my nigga, them people up there is eating the flesh. Okay. So and it looked like they was raising the food right on the ground. The damn roosters and the chickens and everything. The first day I got there was a lot of them. By the time I left, it wasn't a lot of them. You feel me? And there was a few chicken meals on the motherfucking menu. So, oh, they reading the fire and the smoke. That was interesting. That was interesting. They reading the smoke. Yeah, and yeah, they was eating the meat. Yeah, there's people that's eating the meat. I'm pause. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it. You know, I gotta tell the truth. You know, I can't skip around it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? They don't hide that shit. They're not hiding it. You know what I mean? But I was told that that's not what's supposed to be happening. Oh no, there's no freezers. Yeah, there's that shit that's farm to table right there. That was farm to table. They pulled the fish out the water. I seen them fishing the fish out the water one night, and that shit wounded up on the menu. Anyway, so the shamans conduct a vision quest on the foothills, and that is where sacred plants are cultivated and used. So the sacred plants are ayahuasca and San Pedro cactus, right? Ayahuasca. You said what meat? All meats. All meats. Pause. They eating all meats, bro. You know, like I said, I was invited. Okay, and I witnessed, and you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, okay. Many Andean myths emphasize three whole spaces, not extremes. The foothills are where transformation happens, right? So, oh, they emphasize threshold spaces. My bad. Damn, I'm on my Castanet shit. Threshold spaces, not extremes. Okay. The peyote. Yeah, they wasn't on the peyote. I don't think the peyote where I was at, the plant of choice is the rape, right? Is the ayahuasca, and the quote unquote, that was the plant of choice. And the coca, you know, the coca is real big out there. Like I said, this is a former narco state where I was at. It was probably popping when Pablo and them was running around, but it's a former narco state. The quote unquote Putumayo, when you look it up, was a narco state, and the coca was the main import. The coca, you know, the cocaina. That was what they was dealing with. Now they deal now mostly it's not that. It is the ayahuasca and things like that. How was their herbs? What herbs? Which ones? You know? The rape. Yo, the rape. Oh my goodness. They call that jungle cocaine. No, 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 no. No, 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 no weed. No Mary Jane. Mm-mm. I was not playing no games. They said no, they was not on that. Mm-mm. They did not want no weed around. They was burning the tobacco down, but we didn't play around with none of that. No trees. Mm-mm. I did not touch no trees. Not at all. You could chew the cocoa leaf. Yeah, that's what it was for. The cocoa leaf was for the. Yeah, they not playing with weed, and I didn't even ask no questions. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't ask no questions. When I heard them say it like that, I was okay, cool. I'm not gonna roll up nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, let's bury the weed. Let's bury the weed. You know, they got something called scolopine that makes people zombies. Yeah, yo, they be shooting niggas with darts. They got some shit with the dart, and it will take your energy from you. Like, bro, it's different, you know? It's different. So you have ley lines, sacred geometry out there. So the CK system, or the CEQUE, right? From the Incas. I could be pronouncing it wrong. And Cusco was the ritual center of the Inca world, from which 41 sacred lines radiated outwards. And these lines connected temples, springs, stones, and mountains. It structured time, ritual calendars, and power. And it often aligned with the solstices, the equinoxes, and other stellar events, right? This is not speculative. It was documented by Spanish chronologers. It was mapped by modern archaeologists. Some researchers compared Sikhs or Geeks or Keks to ley line systems and earth energy mapping, right? So then you have astronomy and the dark sky tradition. Listen to this, right? Listen to this. Yeah, they said, they told me. So I was in Bogota. I was in Bogota blowing it down and whatnot. And I think I might have I put it on my story. I was with my cab driver and, I had a pre-roll. You know what I'm saying? I think I had a pre-roll from like Puerto Rico or some shit. And I just lit it up. Nigga. A nigga inboxed me and then called me. You know how they be calling you on Instagram? I'm like, who the hell is calling me on Instagram? He was like, yo, throw that shit out right now, because if they pull up on you, you are an American and you a cocky American too. Because if they see your story and your ass is blowing trees in Colombia, Bogota, and your ass, and they run down on you, they gonna, you know what I'm saying? He said that he said Trump ain't gonna come get you. Trump ain't gonna come get you. So yeah, I didn't, I smoked it till it was on, but that was the last one. And I wasn't even thinking about trees. That was the interesting thing. I didn't even miss it like that. Like once I got past that fast, I was like, I'm good. So the first night when I get there, right? Mind you, the camp started on Thursday. I got there on Saturday, in pure red pill fashion. I pulled up fashionably late to the party and whatnot. So I get there Saturday and whatnot. The first thing they hit me with was the rape, right? For anybody that don't know what the fuck rape is, they call it jungle cocaine. Now it doesn't have any cocaine in it, but the shit will blow your brain to smithereens. They blow it through a pipe up your nostril. And when I tell you, when that bitch hits you, I immediately, like it don't even, the minute he blow that shit, it's almost, all right, you know what it feels like? You know when you drown, you know when you go in the pool and you get water in your nose and the shit goes all the way to your brain? You ever had that happen? That's what it feels like. But the powdered version. I'm coughing out. I'm spitting out fucking rape out the shit is all in my. It cleared me right on up though. It's one of those things that it's like, imagine if somebody punched you in the face, but after they punch you in the face, you could just think like Chat GPT. Like it, can you take the punch? Because if you could take the punch, my nigga, you could get right. That's what that shit was like. Powdered wasabi. There you go. That's exactly what it was. But after the sting wore off, I swear to God, I heard a cricket rapping. I was like, damn, you should be on smack. You got bars. Keep going. Nigga, I can hear cricket rapping. That's how clear my mind was. That shit had my senses on fleek. That bitch had my ears on super fleek, bro. And yeah. They got the pipe where you could do it yourself. You could do it yourself. I was like, nah, that's crazy. But yeah, the rape. Look, my homegirls and them in Savannah, they do that every day at the Savannah house. The rape, they break that shit out immediately. The minute you come there, they gonna blow that shit in your nose. So they got people out here to do that all the time. They do it in Atlanta a little bit. But whoever be doing that a lot, I give you props. Yeah. You're different. You're different. Cause I was at one point I was mad at I was looking at the shaman like, man, what are you doing? The fuck? Then the next day, cause different people got different. It just hit different with different people that's blowing it. And yeah, it's not. I wouldn't do it every day. Baba Dule, the happy. That's who it was. Okay, thank you, Giovanni. Okay, so the first person that introduced me to the rape was Dooley out of Boston at St. Francis Church. It was a Black Magic 363 It was a Brother Rich event. I believe it was Panic. I think it was Phil Valentine. It was either Panic. It was one of those big events that he did, and I got there. He was like, "Yo, sit down. You want to do this? You want to try this out?" And I trust. I'm like, whatever you doing, I'm doing, Dooley. Like you the shaman. You know what I'm saying? You the ghetto shaman. Let's do it, my nigga. I was ready to fight this nigga afterwards. Like, fam, what the fuck did you just? What the hell? What the helly, bro? I gotta be on that stage in a little while. My whiz is right here looking at me crying. Like, what the fuck did you just put in my nose, bro? And he was like, nah, you have to just let it sit. Just let it sit, my brother. Don't fight it. I'm like, I'm about to fight you. What are you talking about? Like, nigga, what the fuck? That was like 2017 or 18. I didn't really understand everything at that point, but I know now. I know now. Okay, so the Andes Mountains, or what they call the Andean cosmology, right? Instead of them looking into the skies, remember, they are high into, there's no blocks. They don't have buildings blocking them. They're able to look into the galactic core, right? So the difference between them and traditional old world systems is that they focus on the dark constellations. They don't focus on the stars. They could give a fuck about the stars. They're looking at the dark places in between the stars. Crazy. So they observe shapes that are formed by darkness in the Milky Ways. They're looking at the shapes that are formed by darkness. Huh? And they observe animals and deities emerging from voids, and they observe seasonal cycles tied to celestial absence, not presence. They're dealing with the void. They're dealing with negation. They're dealing with absence and not presence. That's that nigga. That's on some doggone shit. They're not looking at what the eyes can observe. They're looking past to what the eyes can't see. And they're observing that. So I'm like, whatever plants you niggas is on, send that. Let me get that. I'm talking about, I'm interested in shit like that. So with the mountain, yes, the night had different shades of dark. Yes, sir. Bro. So on Friday night, which was the fourth ceremony, right? Boom. I take the drink, the second cup. The first cup didn't do it. The first cup was like orientation, like sit down, nigga. We about to get you right. The second cup was like lay down, nigga. So I had on all white. I had the right linen because we in the mountains, so we gotta act up. You know what I mean? I got the right linen on. You know what I don't know where I did that. I got the right linen on, and Spirit was like, sit your ass in the dirt. Put me in the dirt, I'm talking about I was just laid out. And what it was telling me was, you could ground your feet, but why it's time to ground your body. It was like it's time to put your body in the dirt. And ants was crawling on me, but I was like, Pachamama told me that I had to be one with the earth because I come from the earth and the earth is where I go back. So while I'm going through all of that, I looks up, right? And mind you, the way that the ayahuasca works, you're not seeing things like you can see things, but you're experiencing things. If it's hard to explain with words, I'm not the best wordsmith. I would love to be able to articulate things in the best way, but one thing that the language does is it takes away from the magic. It takes away from the experience. I don't want to minimize what I was experiencing with words, and I don't want anybody to think that I was experiencing some crazy shit. No, I was getting through my fears. I was getting through my traumas. I was visiting pockets in my brain that have been suppressed and repressed, almost like locked away in a safe and whatnot, right? What does the ayahuasca do? The ayahuasca, it turns on or it disrupts your default mode is called DMN, right? DMN. And what it does, what psychedelics do, not just the Aya, because the Aya is DMT. What psychedelics do. So there's three types of drugs, right? Or there's three types of substances. Okay. You have uppers, right? You have uppers. What is the uppers? Niggas is out here popping pills and whatnot. They taking coke and shit like that. They doing the cocaine and everything. What is that? These are the uppers. These are the uppers that they have. You know, you have ecstasy and all of the designer shit. That's the uppers. Then you have something called downers, right? The downers are that shit where they sipping on lean. These niggas are on opiates. They're on the downers. You take some shit and your ass crashes and whatnot. Adderall, methamphetamines, and everything. Those are the downers. There's only three types of substances in this bitch. And then there's the third one is called psychedelics. Okay? Don't ever in your motherfucking life confuse that with these other ones. There's uppers, there's downers, and then there's inners. Okay, there's uppers, there's downers, and there's inners. More than likely, you're never going to hear me talk about uppers, and you're never going to hear me talk about downers. You're mostly going to hear me talk about inners, shrooms, and all plant-based medicines. I do not push any type of substances. This is just a disclaimer as I give you a little walkthrough as to some of my experiences, because I don't want to be judged. I don't give a fuck. But I just don't want people to be confused. I want people to fully understand what it is that I'm sharing with them, because it's something that I'm sure somebody out there could basically learn from, and it could help solve a little bit of problems or answer some questions that you may have. Okay, so your default mode that every single body has is called our quote unquote our DMN mode. Our DMN mode is what keeps us. Our DMN mode is what keeps your reality intact. Our DMN mode is the default mode in our brain and whatnot. But when you tap into the Aya, it suppresses certain quote unquote receptors in that brain. So here's the example of what DMN is. All right, there's a classroom. And there's a teacher. There's a classroom, and there's a teacher, and there's students and whatnot in that classroom. So what the teacher is DMN, right? The teacher is the DMN mode, which is basically default mode in your brain. And what the DMN does is it keeps the students in their seats. Certain students in our class could not talk to other students in the class, only during recess. The teacher did not want certain students to mix with other students because that would create chaos in the classroom. What does the DMT do? What does the Aya do? It brings it suppresses the teacher, it sits the teacher down, and it makes all of the students start talking to each other. So there are frontal cortexes. There's certain parts of your brains that are not in contact with other parts of your brain, because if they were in contact with other parts of your brain, this agreed upon reality, or this default mode reality that you are in based off of your brain patterns and based off of the way that your brain functions and whatnot, you could not fucking take it if you walk through life and everything was psychedelic all the time. So what your brain is doing is it's keeping you safe in this agreed upon reality that we exist in. It's keeping you in DMN mode. DMT and other things, they shut that bitch down, right? The ego blockers, yes, they shut that shit down, and they allow all of these quote unquote different parts of the brain to communicate with one another. They've taken brain MRIs. They've taken all type of scientific tests and whatnot on some Stranger Things type of shit, where they've been examining 11 and all of them. They've been examining people's brains, and then they put rats on the motherfucking medicine. They put humans on the medicine, and the nigga break out the box. And once you break out the box, you're going to begin to see things in ways that you have never seen it, because the reality that you're living in right now is what is considered default mode. This reality is a safe mode. This reality is called DMN. Okay? DMN. And go and look it up. We ain't making words up. This is scientific terms and whatnot. Okay? And I don't know. I can't suggest what anybody should do. You feel me? I don't know. I will never suggest that anybody, because everything is not for everyone. Like, everybody could not make it on that where I was at for 10 days. Everybody could not. And I'm not saying it like I'm him or something, because, to be honest with you, I would have loved to be around 60 of y'all. I would have probably been distracted. I probably would have not been able to focus. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? But we would have got closer. We would have been initiated together. We would have went through a rites of passage that we could have always talked about for our entire life. Like, it creates a bond with people. I tell people that the first part of the medicine was me being around 60 people that I would never been around. That was the part of the healing. That was the real part of the healing. The medicine and all of these other things, yeah, but the real healing was me being around 60 people that I would have never in my life been around. And when I tell you, the whole shit was ancestral. It was an ancestral movie unlike anything that I could never have written. The universe put this one together. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? My aunt Spielberg, nigga, they put that one together because it was a movie. It was a movie, you know? It was a movie. It could have either been a horror, a thriller, or a drama, just based on how you was moving. Yeah, you never forget the people in the ceremony. You might not be lifelong friends, but you'll never forget it. Anybody been to camp before? Anybody been to camp? Look, I was up there with Argentinians. I was up there with Israelis. I was up there with Turks, people from Turkey. I was up there because, remember, this is South America that we're in. These are the people that are tapped into South America. I was up there with white Mexicans. You understand? I was up there with Venezuelans. I ain't never seen none of these people a day in my life. There was some people from India up there. So spirits can come and go as they please. I don't know what you mean by that. You know? And these wasn't no poo butts. These wasn't no poo butts. These were people who had things going on. Movie directors. You know what I'm saying? I had a dude from my Indian dude. He got 3 AI companies. He's locked in with me. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't even have to show him the AI. Me just talking to him. So they was like, yo, you know, I'm with my nigga Ghost, right? They're like, yo, we ain't never, you know, I had one dude say, yo, I ain't never seen, I never seen, I'm from Israel. I've never been around black people before. I only seen y'all on TV. I'm like, nigga, I ain't never seen no nigga from Israel. That makes 2 of us. But he had locks, right? He wasn't a Zionist. He was cool as hell. He was on his honeymoon. You know? He was on his honeymoon. And we had that hard talk. Me and him, And we had that hard talk. Pause. We had that talk. Like, yo, fam, like let's talk about it. Like, what's popping? What's going on? What the fuck is happening over there? You know? Stop lying on my heritage. They are tethers to Afro Latinas like myself. You sound ridiculous. The only Latinos that matter are the black Brazilians. I also speak Spanish and Portuguese fluently. White Mexicans, you mean mestizos and Spaniards? Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. And I called them a white Mexican, but if you call them mestizos, yeah, there was a lady who was a mestizo. Yeah, she was there. Keep them contacts. Yeah. So what part of your heritage, pardon me, beloved? What part of your heritage am I lying on? What are you talking about? Enlighten me, please. You know? Are you upset that I'm talking about the experience that I had amongst people that I showed up and that's where they was at? What are you saying? I know it's early. And remember, I'm integrating back into society, right? I am integrating back into society. You know what I'm saying? And the integration is not going to be an easy one. It is not going to be an easy one because, like I said, these 8 or 9 days, it was very, very intensive. It was very, very intensive. There was shit going on that I never would have thought would have went down. You know what I'm saying? There was insight that I received. Look, there was fears that I faced. Bro, I was walking in this, and it's a jungle, but it's also like a forest. My phone was dead. I had no flashlight. I'm hearing shit in the bushes. I'm a scary nigga at night. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the dark. I'm a New Yorker. Let's be clear. Like we do the uh I did not say that nobody was helping me reach spiritual alignment. I did not say nothing about that. I don't know what you're talking about. Like I said, when I was out there, I was on my journey. My spiritual alignment come from me and my medicine. But yes, the medicine part is me being around different people, different cultures and whatnot. You feel me? Even with these cultures, these are not my culture. This is not my culture. But when you put me in a camp with a bunch of people that are not my people, yeah, nigga, that becomes a motherfucking journey for me. Cause I would never have been there if I even knew that that was the case. I would never have been there. I would automatically have blocked that. But I was there and I went through it, and it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? The Moors is definitely, like I said in the beginning of the show, the Moors have work to do. You know, the Moors have work to do because it's real in the field. And whatever took place on them islands, you can see the result of that. The whole South America, the whole Central America, the whole Latin America. When I was in Bogota, our people was walking with their heads down. You understand? They didn't want to look at me in my eye. They were walking with their heads down. Bogota, they have a very heavy anti-nigga. I was downtown. Even today, I was in Bogota downtown. I was in one of the flea markets. They have a very anti-black energy over there. They had our women, black women, prostituting themselves. You know? So yeah, there's a lot of shit going on out there. But yeah, I'm a New Yorker, so me and the forest, we don't get along. We don't get along. You know what I'm talking about? You know? We do not get along. So by me walking in the dark like that, yeah, that was something else. You know what I'm talking about?
I was able to get through a lot of that fear of just being in the dark, and I was hearing shit moving and whatnot. So I'm like, God damn, what's that about? So I'm talking loud. I'm like, if that's a snake, you need to go back in your hole, fam, because we ain't, I ain't the one. I got these Timbs on. I will stomp you the fuck out. And then they had me in the sweat lodge, which I explained to the family, which was like an igloo, right? It was like an igloo, but it wasn't an igloo. They built it out of like sticks and whatnot. Then they threw these covers over that bitch. And then they had dug out like a hole in the middle of the ground where they put rocks, heated rocks that they was burning in the fire, and they poured water on that bitch. They had us crawl inside of the igloo. It was like 30 of us. They covered up the whole igloo to whereas I couldn't even see my finger in front of me, right? They closed it up. It was pitch black and it was about 100 degrees. And I was like, yo, what did I just sign up for? So it was 4 sessions of it, right? They did 4 sessions of it. The first session might have been like 20 minutes. The second session was another 20 minutes. And then they was like, yo, if you need to tap out right now and get some air. Before he said air, I was out that bitch. Nigga, I took all my clothes off. You understand? I jumped in some water. I rolled on the motherfucking dirt so I could get some air in my body and whatnot. I needed, bro. I felt, cause I did 90 days in the box when I was like 16, bro. C95, they had me in the shoot, segregated housing. I was in the box for a razor. So I got a little bit of claustrophobia residue still working on me. You know what I mean? So me being inside of a closed space like that, I don't know about all of that. They also had me in a box when I was in Fairfax in like 95. I beat a Mexican up. You know what I mean? Right around the time of the Million Man March, they threw me in a box. So I don't like being in boxes. So that shit was kind of tweaking me out and whatnot. Because I promise you, I could not see my hand in front of my face for a minute. And then it was mad hot. They kept pouring water on that bitch, so the steam just kept coming back. Mind you, I'm behind 2 other people, so I'm feeling their heat. I'm trying to get air and everything. Yeah, that was intense. I don't know if I'll do that one again. The mosquitoes tore me alive. My legs got beat up. You know what I mean? My legs got tore up. Anyway, let's go back to what we was talking about with the Andes Mountains. So before we were so rudely interrupted. Let's go back to that. The Andean cosmology focused on the dark constellations, right? So the dark constellations, okay? So on the mountaintops, they provide a clear, thin atmosphere. The air was so thin. The air was so good, right? The air felt so pure that man, oh man. Um, so the mountaintops provided a clear, thin atmosphere. How does the sound? How does it sound? How does the sound? And uninterrupted views of the galactic core. Uninterrupted. My mic isn't clear. Ah, y'all should have told me that. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me do something. The Andes is where the White Brotherhood is found. They have a sacred temple in the mountains. Oh shit. The White Brotherhood. That's crazy. You know? And they need the Black Brotherhood up in that biatch. You know? I'm sure they got some version of it. I'm sure they got some version of it. And my spirit told me that's where the top of the mountain. If I didn't see our people at the bottom of the mountain, then they gotta be either at the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? They gotta be at the top. You know? But let me give me 1 minute. I'm about to switch this mic so it could get better audio. Give me 1 second. But it's the trip that keeps on giving, because there's so much rich information that I want to share about what I picked up on. It's not just one.
It's not just. It's not. How does this sound? I just switched the mics. How does this sound? I just switched it up. Talk back to me. Nigga said I sound like I'm on a payphone. Ah, yeah, because I was talking on my iPhone, and then I had to, in order to read off of my phone, I had to switch it up to this handheld phone. Y'all should have told me, man. Let I'm gonna get a mic tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna get a mic tomorrow, man. I'm gonna just order it. I'm gonna stop playing games and just get a fucking mic. I got a few mics, but I'm gonna get another one. All right, so let's get back into this Andes mountain type of thing. Okay, let's get back into this Andes mountains type of thing. These are the Andes. These are the Andes. Those are the mountains. Let me get an image of it. And nah, I'm not being tight. I'm just procrastinating. I'm not being tight. I promise you. You know, these pictures don't do it justice though. It doesn't. It's not doing it justice. The pictures are not really doing it justice. I was taking them while the car was moving. I don't think that they're doing it the right type of justice. It looks way better than that. It was looking way different than that. You know what I mean? Bigger than that. But that's just a little something, something. All right. Let us go into let's go more into the Andes again. So remember, they have access to the galactic cores, the galactic core, right? Ras Ben talked about the galactic core. Okay, they're able to stand at the mountaintop and do their rituals to, and they're able to observe, right? They're able to observe the quote unquote galactic core, right? So let's just break down some of the major things about the Andes Mountains to get everybody kind of good, right? The Andes are the longest continental mountain range on Earth, stretching 7,000 kilometers along the western spine of South America, right? The Andes are the longest continental mountain range on Earth. But you know, they got them earthquakes, continuous earthquakes, eruptions, and mountain growth shaped indigenous views of the Andes as alive and not inert. Mountains were perceived as sentient beings and not scenery. The Andes as living entities. So remember, we were calling them apus, right? These are sacred peaks and whatnot. And we have the axis mundi concept, right? The axis mundi, which is a vertical connection between the upper world, this world, and the underworld, right? So it's three stages. It's the upper world, which is the celestial realm. It's this world, which is the middle world. And then you have the inner and the underworld. The mountain is still a liaison to all of those things. It's a threshold to all of those worlds and whatnot. Okay. So the foothills are more important than the summits. The foothills is where the sacred plants, the San Pedro's cactus, and the ayahuasca are cultivated and used. These go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay. And it passes down through bloodlines, and it also you become an initiate. You can go through a rites of passage in order to become a shaman, in order to talk to the plants, in order to be a part of this sacred kingdom where the shamans are utilizing the magic of the plants in order to tap into the quote unquote unknown, unseen realms, bring back information, and also to heal people. So they have an aspect to whereas they could drink these plants and whatnot, or drink the plant medicine, and they're able to observe your aura and see where the holes are in your aura, and they could fix your aura through the music, what they call the acaros and whatnot, or they have shamans that can actually fix your aura or the patterns, right? They see patterns. So there was a moment, right, where I was looking at shit and shit was in patterns. Okay. It looked like I had 3D glasses on. Remember the red and blue glasses? I was looking at shit and it was looking straight patterned out. And I was like, what the fuck? You know? And I was like, what the hell? But this has happened many times. Even on shrooms, I'm able to see patterns and everything. Things break down into patterns. Okay. Once again, whereby it's when you take the medicine, it's turning off certain blocks that you have in your brain that's stopping you from seeing the reality that you live in. Whatever's going on, they're allowing every single person to dream in this coordinated environment, or this coordinated reality that we all agreed upon, so we don't get spooked the fuck out when we wake up. That's why there's been a question to say, are we awake now, or are we dreaming? Because when we tap into either deep meditation, near death experiences, or this plant-based medicine, what the fuck is that you're seeing? That's not the dream state. That's not the dream state. That state is more alive than this state. So what state is dreaming? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. We're not seeing shit. You seeing a motherfucking desk in a subway station or a highway, a few pens and pencils and Windows 94. We're not seeing a lot, you know? Okay. The Andes are not mystical because of hidden objects or secret chambers. They are mystical because entire civilizations organize life around them. Mountains were treated as sovereign intelligences. Human sacrifice, agriculture, astronomy, and politics were integrated into a single cosmology. The mystery is not what is hidden on the mountaintop. The mystery is why modern civilization forgot to see land as alive, right? The conquistadors and all of their quote unquote cohorts, right? They are at war with what we call Pachamama or terra firma. The war on terror is the war on terra firma, right? Dr. Valentine broke that down in the 9/11 lecture, damn near 20 some odd years ago, right? The war on terror is the war on terra firma. There was a planter who broke down how many what's that shit called? It's not acres, it's hectares or hectare, whatever the fuck that is. He was breaking down how during the cocaine wars, the government was spraying this quote unquote like a roundup, and basically destroyed, right, the hectares. They destroyed um all type of sacred plants, all type of quote unquote trees and whatnot that were very important to the ecology of the Amazon and things of that nature. And he said that there's whole entire hectares that won't even sprout a seed out of the ground anymore. You feel me? And let's not even talk about the illegal logging and all of that type of shit and whatnot. So the conquistador, they come to these rich paradise-like places and they pillage them. Okay, they pillage them for life. They're killing the same way that they killed the same way that they, I'm sorry, unalived the mothers, right? Or what they call the brujas, the mamas, right? They burnt the witches, right? And all of the wrong that they did to the feminine principle, right? That's the same wrong that they're doing to the animals. That's the same wrong that they're doing to the trees, all of these feminine plants. It don't stop. The exploitation, they shifted through all kingdoms. They're exploiting the mineral kingdom, they're exploiting the animal kingdom. You're not supposed to be killing lions and jaguars and all type of stuff. Those are sacred. Those might be people. The shamans, they see animal, they say humans are everywhere. Their interpretation of humans, they said that the only difference between a human being and like a horse, they said the horse is human. It's just a different form. That's what they say, not me. That's what they say. They say humans are in everything. Okay. But if somebody is drinking this magic potion and they could see deeper into this quote unquote simulation than what an average person who is not initiated, then I tend to believe them a little bit more. Not to say that I'm gonna just take it on every word, but I'm like, shit, you might have a point. You see things differently based off of the fact that you went through a rites of passage. I respect anybody who's going through a rites of passage to get their power up. I fucks with that. I'm gonna frown down on niggas that are avoiding that. Let's be clear. There's levels of initiation that you're not going to be able to tap into if you don't go. There's levels of power. There's levels of manifestation. There's different levels of your walk that if you don't go through a rites of passage, my nigga, you're just skipping through the tulips, doing YouTube videos. And you're not initiated. You didn't do a rites of passage in front of the people. You didn't disappear and go into the motherfucking forest for a year and come back, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Talking to plants. Like there's just levels of initiation that I now know, not think, I now know is very, you have to go through. It is unavoidable at this point. You can't skip through it. And once you get through it, the reward is something that I could never even tell you because you have to experience it yourself. But I'm here to let you know everything that you was waiting for is on the other side of that fear, my G. Everything. And you're not going to get to it until you get past that. Okay. Anyway, let's go. So the Amazon basin is what we're going to talk about right now. The Amazon basin. And before I even continue, for my Pachimamas out there, right? For my sisters, for my goddesses, right? This is even for you. Okay, this is not because there was women there getting it all the way in and whatnot. There was women in there handling their business. So this rites of passage that we speak of, this quote unquote journey, this applies to both genders. Do you know how much I would have loved to see certain sisters that I rock with and I whatnot, to see them healing? I want to see you purge. I want to see you throw up. You feel me? I want to see you cry. I want to see you roll around in the dirt. You dig what I'm saying? I want to see you pull your hair out. I'm gonna be there for you. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there for you. We're gonna console, but we're gonna heal together. Cause this healing shit is ugly. I was ugly the whole 8. I didn't give a damn. They was coming up to me like, my nigga, you was going through it last night. I was like, yes, nigga, I'm good. I made sure I went through it because the more I went through it, the more I was able to accomplish, the more I was able to quote unquote face certain things that I would never have faced before. I had the ugly face the whole time. At some points I did not care anymore. You know what I'm saying? You know, Fly Sinet had to still get fly, but you know what I mean? It just was, I was on my ugly face. Yeah, literally the dark night of the soul. Like I was going through it, crying, screaming sometimes, you know, not bad, but you know, shit. I seen some shit that made me scream because it made me scream like, no, it was sad. They were showing me some future events, you know, but the insight was just very profound. I was sitting in front of the fire for like 5 hours, just talking to the flame, you know, just dealing with the flames. And it was very therapeutic. Once again, I'm amongst strangers, but I felt the energy of my people. I represented heavy for my people. I made I made everybody that was in attendance respect us. They was like, "Oh, he's holding it down. He's centered." You know? Spirits. Remember, when you're in situations like that, you could be talking to a person, shaking their hand, showing your teeth and everything, but in the spirit realm, it is Mortal Kombat. Finish him, right? A lot of the combat was going on in the spirit realm. So I'm moving through that bitch, but the Moors is in this bitch going crazy. Huh? The Moors was up in that bitch going crazy with the conquistadors. We was at war with each other. We were battling. It was like 3 levels of chess. While they was playing the motherfucking the music and shit that they used to play the music with inside. You know, I don't know the name of the music, but that's the music that the Moors used to dance to. Anyway, let's continue. The Amazon basin. The Amazon basin, y'all. Okay? The Amazon basin. Its spiritual geography is expressed less as a chain of high summits and more as an interlinked system of tipus, isolated plateaus, river headland peaks, and Andean foothill ridges that function as sacred places. These high places are commonly conceived by indigenous people as sources of water and life, home of spirits, often animal and ancestral, origins of peoples, or boundary threshold zones where shamans meditate or mediate between worlds. Many of those places are ecologically unique and archaeologically important. Categories of sacred high places in the Amazon region: you have the tipus and the tabletop plateaus, which is the Guyana Shield, tall, steep-sided sandstone mesas with endemic biotas. Best known are Roraima and Iowan Tipu. Culturally, these are mountain islands and often thought as the home of the ancestors or gods, right? Then you have Tipu-like inselbergs and granite monoliths across the basin, local sacred status for nearby communities. And then you have the Andean Amazon transition peaks and ridges, the Yungas, cloud forest fringe. These foothill peaks are key ritual zones and supply corridors for sacred plants and resources. They are the locus of initiation and shamanic practice. That's where I was at. The Andean Amazon transitions. The Riverhead and Source Mountains. Smaller peaks that are sources of major tributaries are treated as sacred guardians of water. Isolated summits are used for high altitude ritual and transitional zones where Andean cosmology blends into Amazonian practice. Okay. So there's different mountains that they have. Typical mythical roles and motifs attached to Amazon mounts and high places. Plateaus and springs are cosmological origin points for people, plant species, and the jaguar serpent guardians. So, jaguars and serpents, that's the big thing out there. That's what you hear a lot about. Even when people do the medicine, they talk a lot about seeing serpents and they talk a lot about the jaguar being able to either. Then somebody told me that they saw the Indians in the fucking trees and whatnot. They was like, yeah, I saw the Indians in the tree staring at us. And I was like, nigga, are you serious? But when I was laid out, I was told the story about how I was laid out. When I looked up, lightning started hitting in the sky. but not the type of lightning that you might see in Atlanta. This was the lightning where the lightning was behind the clouds, so the fucking clouds just was lighting up. But as the clouds was lighting up, I'm seeing all of this intricate shit. All bro, I thought I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? You could tell me I wasn't making it happen. You know what I mean? But then I had to get out of my ego because it was about that night was the ego death. And I had to get out of the ego. And I was like, you know what? This is bigger than me. The program is bigger than me. This shit is happening. It's happening with me, to me, around me, in me, all type of things. You know, it's just it just gives you very profound insight. I could never do a show while I'm on ayahuasca. I don't think I'll be able to do a show where I'm just talking, because that's not how it works. It's working inside of you. I can't art. It's not where it don't make you like you don't drink it and you become fucking Einstein. You could be deep. No, it shuns it actually shuns the ego speaking like that. It doesn't. It shuns you speaking to try to impress somebody. That's not what's happening. It's speaking inside of you. It's going inside. There's a conversation. There's an inner conversation, and you be like, "Well, goddamn it, who's talking?" And it's grandma. It's you know, it's the ayah. You know, it stays inside of you. It's not just one night. It will be with me for a while now. Okay. I did not, quote unquote, purge. I did not throw up. Okay. I did not throw up. I was not purging. That shit was, I was drinking it and it was staying with me. You know, I was like yawning, you know, I was crying, you know, I might have, I was going to the bathroom, but I was not earling. There was people literally throwing their guts up, but that wasn't me. It was the medicine is with me, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? This shit is I'm locked in. This bitch is yeah. My tank is fuel. My tank is full. You know, it stayed with me. So that gets into your bloodstream. That goes into your quote unquote brain. That gets all in your system, and it's going to work with you. It's going to clean things out. It helped me see some shit that I needed to see. And then I went and pressed the button and it showed, and boom. Oh shit. I knew it. It's showing me my enemies. It's showing me the haters. It's showing me the fuck niggas in my circumference. And I love it. You know what I'm talking about? So whereas people might think, oh, red pill, you know, doesn't the ayahuasca make you a monk? Yeah, nigga, if you monk like the fuck, nigga, if you're a monkey, you know what I'm talking about? But if you are who the fuck you say you are and you're standing in that, it's just gonna elevate that, you know. And to me, healing is revealing. That's how I work. I'm a Scorpio. You gotta reveal things. I need to see what I can't. I need to see shit beyond what my eyes can see. That's healing for me. You know, I gotta clean niggas up because I gotta keep them away from me. That's how I heal. All right, let's continue. The ecological and conservation context. Tea pools and high inselbergs are biodiversity hotspots. High endism and fragile ecosystem. Threats. Mining. So these are the threats. These are what they going. These are how the conquistador. These are how the petroleum companies. This is how the Europeans, the logging companies, the petroleum companies. You know, that type of stuff that they show you in Avatar. I saw it in real life. I saw it in real life, and there's no reason whatsoever. This goes for every island that I visited. If they have petroleum companies there pulling oil out of your land and it doesn't reflect it in the way that the living, if it doesn't reflect in the living of the people, then what's going on? Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. How you gonna let that just happen? I'm literally seeing, you know, and this is in Africa, this is in South, but you know what you know what it is. And people will make all of the excuses in the world as to, nigga, it is what you know what it is. They done, it's a stick up. You know, it's a stick up. The ecological and conservation context, cultural threats, loss of language and ritual knowledge due to acculturation, niggas assimilating, everybody wanting to go to the city and leaving these quote unquote villages, tourism that disregards local restrictions, state projects that displace communities. The threats are mining, logging, hydroelectric projects, which dam up the rivers and mess up the life, gold rushes, right? They rushing for gold. You know, Bogota in the airport, that shit was saying, what's that thing? El Dorado. El Dorado. Road construction, illegal activities. That's the cocaine. That's the cartels. That's the illegal activities. And killing jaguars, killing leopards, killing lions, killing the big cats. You know what I mean? They do poaching. They were poaching the animals and whatnot. And climate change, right? Conservation opportunities, co-management with indigenous communities, sacred site protection, and community-led ecotourism that respects taboos. I would say that the conservation opportunity part is where a lot of our people should just be going into these islands and doing the work. Like how our good brother Aris Lathan in Panama, how he has like 700 acres and they dealing with raw food and things of that nature. You know, I met a couple who they are in Dominican Republic. They live in a nudist community and they grow cacao. They have cacao trees, 70 acres of cacao trees, and they live in a nudist community in DR, Dominican Republic. I was like, what the hell? And our brothers and sisters, like Blue Pill is doing a farming initiative right now. I'm gonna have him come and break that down very soon if he hasn't already done videos talking about it. Him and H Factor, they have they farming in the house. They're growing mushrooms, lion's mane, cordyceps. The brother has a contraption that looks like the black Saturn cube, and when you walk in it, is these infrared lights and whatnot, and they're growing mushrooms to eat. Like I was at farmers market and they're selling lion's mane in these portobellas for a lot of money. So I would take things like that and I will go into Central and South America and I will rock out with the food on some Sabi type shit first, and then I would get with the healing plants, and then take it from there. Get the land, build the land out, boom, 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 retreats, boom, 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 boom. Because I've said it before. Why? All right, elders, especially the master teachers, the ones that are teaching us, yeah, why they don't have the nice little we could build them a cinder block home in Puerto Rico. We could build them. I used to look. This how much I learned. Little old me with my American ass, right? You be driving and shit. I was in Puerto Rico. I was in other places, you know what I'm saying? And you see the houses with the tin roof, right? And then the American in you, you look at that shit and be like, ah man, they got the motherfucking tin roof. You know what I mean? Until it was a rainstorm, right? It sounded like a monsoon. I thought it was gonna be a flash flood in the camp. Real talk. I was sleeping in my hammock, and the rain was coming down so hard that my spider senses was like, family, there may be a flash flood coming from the top of the mountain. It's raining so hard, it might be a flash flood. You better get ready to swim. We looking at the mud flood, nigga. They was about to Tartaria was about to come. And then I got so much respect for a tin roof, sleeping underneath a tin roof during a damn near monsoon that happened one of those nights that I was out there. Because remember, I believe this is a rainforest. The shit came down with intensity. I mean, it was hitting the tin roof like hell. That's how hard it. Brrr. So we look at these tin roof houses and we be thinking it's something. No, these are intricate. They're well put together. They serve a purpose. Those cinder block houses, when it's hot, they cool off the crib. When it's cold, you'll light some shit up and they'll warm it up. Everybody was living very simple around this whole trip that I was on. I was in Puerto Rico, I was in Bogota, I was in Putumayo. When you take off on a plane from Bogota and you look down, it's nothing but shanty towns all in the mountains. Mad shanty towns, or what they would call shanty towns, but you know what you know what I'm saying. But yeah, we owe it to our parents. We owe it to our OGs. We owe it to the people that's putting on for us. Why don't we just collectively start putting some money together and get them a property or two? You know what I mean? Get them some acres and whatnot. That ain't nobody losing nothing. Because I tell you this, I know where I'm going. I know what my focus is from this point forward. I'm divesting from the city shit. You'll see me on special appearance only. You don't need to see me every day. I'm divesting immediately from the city slicker life. I'm good with it. I'm good on it. The only reason that I'm here is because I'm homesick from my people. But if they were with me, I wouldn't have to come back. I am so over this shit right here. I want to wake up in a hammock. I want to wake up with the rooster. My new name is Red Rooster. I fell in love with the roosters. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't even know how important they was in life. You know what I mean? The rooster was running the whole show at the camp. You know what I'm talking about? And they're not just crowing at 6 a.m. at 5 a.m. They was in ceremony with us crowing. They was crowing in the afternoon. They was crowing at night. And they was crowing early morning and whatnot. You don't need no alarm clock. The roosters is there for you, bro. They chasing tail all day. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Red Rooster. That's my new name, Red Rooster. But let us continue. We're talking about these Andes mountains. And the reason why I'm showing you all of the Stranger Thing motifs and whatnot. How many people watch Stranger Things? Tell me how many people in the audience have watched Stranger Things. How many people are familiar with Stranger Things? We're about to do a whole series in February. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Maybe the next show. I don't want to. Tonight we want to focus on integrating back into society and whatnot. But I do have some very big things coming up, and I'll be talking about that in our next show, right? But very interesting thing about Stranger Things, one of the main characters on Stranger Things, his name is Vecna, okay? And Vecna is a vine, right? Vecna is a vine. Vecna literally is a vine, okay? So when you go and you look at the ayahuasca, okay, the ayahuasca look like Vecna. This is the Aya right here. This is the vine of the Aya. But when you look at Stranger Things, whenever Vecna turns into Vecna, right? He has the twisted vines and whatnot. You feel me? So I wrote a rhyme about it. We're gonna close it out with that rhyme and whatnot. But Vecna might be the motherfucking ayahuasca. I'm literally gonna watch Stranger Things with new eyes and whatnot, so I could see what I could pick up on it. You dig what I'm saying? But Vecna is a vine. And they call ayahuasca the vine of death. You know that? They call it the vine of death. Okay. So we looking at Vecna, my niggas. So that was very interesting. So you know me, I'm gonna use the AI and I'm gonna flip the story and tell it my way and whatnot. But yeah, Vecna is Mama Aya in my world, in my universe. You know what I'm talking about? I said I bought a dime off of Heckner. I had some wine and nectar made off of a vine from Vecna. In no time, I designed an ancient shrine protector, wrote a rhyme, then I signed Electra. Hold on. Yeah, the ego death. Rooster Red, put a hammock in your house. Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Yeah. I left my hammock. I left the hammock that I was using in the camp. I said, yeah, y'all give that to somebody and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? I told somebody I donated my hammock, but I'm going to order a hammock off of Amazon. I'm gonna rope it up and put it in my backyard. Cause literally, when I was like 5 years old in St. Croix, this whole thing, this entire thing is about my childhood in St. Croix. That came through very strong. That's where a lot of trauma started, right? Very strong. Okay. And everything from the roosters to the hammocks, right? To the river, to the herbs, because Dr. Sabi was living on top of a mountain, right? In St. Croix in 1980, 1981, and all of that, when we was out there in St. Croix. The roots, all of these trees, the drinking of the cup and the bitters and everything. He wasn't doing ayahuasca, he was doing cascara sagrada, he was doing Maya, his concoctions of the iron, you know what I mean? We was drinking, like I was drinking Aya, I was drinking Maya, I was drinking the iron, I was, you know what I mean? All of this 45 years later, this is what I was experiencing. It was all St. Croix again. Only person would really understand is Blue Pill and maybe KT, but he was like a baby. You know what I mean? Don Juan, the Aztec sorcery, deal with the rooster. Well, that they be killing them roosters in the what is that, Santeria or something? So yeah. Let's just talk about the hammocks for a minute. Family, like $2,500 for a Sealy Posturepedic, right? To fuck your back up forever. Your body is not supposed to be sleeping on a bed where the bed is not allowing your bones to actually rest and whatnot. When you sleeping on a bed, you still struggling. And they got the nerve to charge you all that money for springboards and all. That's why the Japanese are sleeping closer to the floor as possible, right? That's why the shamans and whatnot. That's why you have the monks and what. The monks is not sleeping on California beds. They're not sleeping on king size mattresses. You feel me? So when you jump in a hammock and your body is suspended, so imagine I'm on Aya. I'm in two different. I'm literally stuck in two different worlds. I'm gonna talk about something in a minute, but I'm literally stuck in two different worlds. To whereas it was sometimes I couldn't even walk, my niggas. I could not walk because my legs was not. Both of my legs were not on the earth. Both of my legs were not in this world. Maybe one was, but the other one was in the upside down world, nigga, with Vecna in them. So imagine being suspended and like I'm in suspended animation, sort of like a hyperbolic chamber. I'm literally swinging in air, but I'm wrapped up like a burrito. The hammock is holding my body and is wrapping me, and I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good. I mean, it feels so good. I haven't had a shorty in a hammock yet, but I'm sure that that's even that's a burrito. I know that that's a burrito. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe one day, but it just feels so good. I had some very good, a very, very, very. I might have slept about 10 hours on one of them days. I went to sleep at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Huh? I went to sleep at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. And then when it was on Sunday, I was like, yo, what day is it? I was on the phone with my mom's. I was like, what is today? I don't even know. Like, I had no idea what the day was. I went to sleep on a Saturday. I didn't even know it was Saturday. I just went to sleep at 8 p.m. I woke up around 6 a.m. It just was, it was just different. That's why I say the city thing, I've given blood, sweat, and tears to it. I'm not even in the city right now. I'm low key, like outside. I'm on the outskirts, but I'm like, nah, this is not outskirt enough. This ain't outskirt enough. You know, I need to go further out. I could do it now. Before I was apprehensive. Oh, I could do it now. I could get on a plane right now and just pull up to St. Croix or Puerto Rico. You know, I ain't going that far. I found myself on a plane today. The nigga was like, he was like, yeah, we was on a plane for about 3 hours already. He was like, yeah, we're going over Jamaica. I'm like, nigga, we're just getting over Jamaica, bro. Like, yeah, I'm too Dorothy. I'm too far from home. I don't know if I could move to like South America, but I'll do the islands over here. PR, Cuba, St. Croix, St. John's, or one of them. I got my eye. I'm on Zillow tonight. Fuck that. I'm on Zillow. I'm ready to go. Cause what you could just pop out. I get an Airbnb if I need to come back into the States. I'm not staying long. But that is the real Zion. If you want to know anything from me, if I'm not the sharpest tool in the box. You know what I'm saying? Never wanted to be. But I don't know everything. But what I do know and what I will speak of from experience, but a few weeks ago, I might have been reading the book about climbing Stone Mountain. Now I could speak about climbing it from experience. So I could speak about being in the jungle for 10 days. I could speak about getting out of the getting off of the grid during during all of this uncertainty when ice is freezing things over and whatnot. I could speak about the fact that I was fearful of the dark. I was fearful of living, barefoot. I was fearful of all of these things, and I got over that shit. So I'm letting you know that you could get over it as well if you have those inhibitions, and I'm sure a lot of y'all don't. But if we had met up on Stone Mountain this summer, and I knew the shit that I knew right now, y'all wouldn't have had to go home. Facts. Y'all would not have had to go home. We would have left that mountain and got into like a coach, a sprinter or something, a coach bus, and we would have went to our land. Niggas would have pitched hammocks and tents. You feel me? And we would have started building right there, because where I was at, it was very minimal. We did not need much. My phone, I did not have they had no Wi-Fi. I was not on my phone. I did not. Well, I went up the hill where they had Wi-Fi. I did a little live so I could let people know I was alive, because people were scared for me being off the grid in this jungle, out of just out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm gonna be going in the jungle for 10 days. What the hell? You know what I mean? Imagine how that shit sounds. It sounds crazy to me now that I'm saying it, but it wasn't that crazy. I was at camp. I was at sleepaway camp. I was at spiritual summer camp. That's what it was. I was at spiritual initiation summer camp for Harry Potter like niggas. Okay, that's where I was at. The 90s concrete jungle was 10 times scarier than the Amazon. There was nothing scary about the Amazon. Not one thing. There was nothing scary about it. All of that was in my mind. It was all mental. There was not one thing scary about it. I took a shower in cold water. I'm not a cold water person. I am not a cold water person. I'm a nigga that will go into hyperthermia. I don't do cold water. But they did not have hot water, and I had to wash up. I did put some water in the teapot, you know what I mean? But that was to wash, the important parts. So yeah, I've kind of conditioned myself to live off the land and to love it, you know? Yeah, so that's definitely the goal. That's the goal moving forward. Let's finish with this thing, and then I gotta go. You know what I mean? I gotta go. I just landed about 2 hours ago. I literally just no, I landed like 9:30. Let me stop. And came home, and I said, let me go live. I need to tap in with the fam. But then yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I believe we got Techno Tuesdays. and then we got a whole bunch of other things rolling out. I'm taking this channel very serious moving forward. We got a lot of production. We're gonna be stepping this shit all the way up. I got all the downloads that I need. So I'm very clear now. I wasn't, let me repeat, I was not clear. I was in a fucking fog, my niggas. If it probably niggas put a spell on me or something. I don't know what the fuck. You know what I'm talking about? I be beating up on shamans and everything. So I don't know what happened. But I was not clear. This shit cleared me up. This thing cleared me up. It was almost like the microphone that didn't sound good. I was on that type of time. But I'm good now. So we're gonna move this motherfucking vehicle like the Nebuchadnezzar in ways it has never moved before. We taking no prisoners, you know. We ain't playing no games, and we just gonna go hard. You know what I'm saying? We going hard with it. You know, this is gonna move into more of a lifestyle channel, travel, health and wellness. I'm bringing Mama Pill on board. This is gonna be more of a lifestyle. You know, we definitely are always going to stay with the information. The information is our bloodline. It goes nowhere. Red and blue with the decoding and all that ain't going nowhere. Melanin Mondays, Techno Tuesdays, Third Eye Third. You know the brands, the staples. Staple is gonna still staple. The staples are stapling. But there's going to definitely, change is good. Here we go. How to map these places and validate mythic roles. So I'm gonna be calling up Bin, and I'm gonna work with my good brother, and we're gonna see if we could do something, maybe in the summertime and whatnot. Because going to the healing is one thing, because everybody might not want to go heal. And what, like I said before, I'm not gonna make every single retreat. This is what we call the emergence, right? This is the emergence. This is not a retreat. This was not even a healing. This was more of an emergence, right? I immerse myself so I could emerge a part of myself that probably was hidden, or probably was dormant, or probably was in the background, right? I brought it forward. So this is about emergence. The emergence is something that we'll be able to do. We don't have to go to Putumayo to do that. That's not something that's relegated on one location. Let's be clear. I aspire to be in a camp with melanated shamans. That's what I really want. But we are also going to go on fact finding missions. We are also going to go on quote unquote grid work missions. That's where our good brother Ben and Mystical Philly and the his movement and whatnot, that's where they really come in. So I'm going to tap in with him, and we're going to get into all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because especially for my brothers and sisters who are identifying their claim to this land, to the America, South America, Central America, North America, Canada, the islands and whatnot, the people that are resonating on that type of frequency, we should now traverse the land and whatnot, activate the grids and whatnot, do ceremony and whatnot, and learn. You can't learn everything through the computer. You have to put foot to ground. Gotta put foot to ground. It's 20, it was 26 degrees. It's 13 in Texas. God damn. It was fucking 23 degrees in Atlanta when I landed, bro. I was like, where did I land to? Like, what world is this? Like, 26 degrees? I wasn't ready for that. How is the water out there? Are you speaking about the drinking water or the swimming water? Yeah, come on, let's go. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna put it together. We just did a lecture on Saturday, right? So on Friday night, like I said, I was supposed to be in Atlanta on Friday because I was leaving the compound. I was leaving. Whoo, man. I would love to pose the question: what takes you there more? Take me through that. Take me through that. Is it 20 grand? Is it the heroic dose or is it a cup of the ayahuasca? For those who have done both, uh, I don't. I mean, you tell me. I would love to know. What do you think would take you there? It's different experiences. It's different experiences because when we get into the science, I'm gonna break down more of the science of Mama Aya. I'm gonna bring some scientists on the channel and whatnot so we can explain what I was talking about earlier about the default mode that your brain stays in and whatnot. I'm gonna talk about the default mode and how to turn off the default mode, how you could tap in to the quote unquote magical, mystical part of your brain and everything, how to turn that off. You can actually turn that off through meditation. It don't have to be through plant-based medicine. It don't have to be through the plant-based medicine. You feel me? But we'll build on that. I would love to know, is it the shrooms or is it the Aya that will take you to where you really gotta go? If you would have asked me, I would say it was I would say the Aya is gonna give you a different type of experience. Like I said, you'll see when the scientists come through, they'll show you what parts of the brain are activated through each one of these plants and whatnot. Different plants activate different parts. That's why you're gonna feel different type of things that have different. Okay. Um, People are not taking shrooms the right way. They're not taking Aya the right way. Uh, Setting, environment is everything. The environment is everything. The fact that we was in that camp, the fact that we was in the wood, that we was on, we was outside. You know what I mean? The fact that we had the crickets, we had the birds, we had the roosters, we had all of nature's orchestra all around us at all times. That played a major part in the ritual. That played a major part in the ceremony. That played a major part. If it was just us in an apartment building or we was chilling on some other spots, it might not have hit the same. They said the Aya is way more powerful. I'm okay. I would like to take a few more answers in terms of that. I want to know how y'all feel about that. The Aya is way more powerful. Fresh rooms are the best. He said fresh rooms are the best. Okay. Okay. So here are some of the spots that we could check out and do the research on when we talk about these mountains, right? Because remember, the mountains stretch all the way into Peru, Brazil. The next place that I might want to do the Aya is Peru, right? We did it in Colombia. I think I want to go to Peru for next. I've been hearing a lot about Peru. Okay, what they call Heru, right? Baba Kalindi, Rise in Power. Yes, his teachings still live with all of us. It's even stronger today. Compile an initial list. So you have Mount Roraima, what they call Pakarima or Pakarama. Mount Roraima, R-O-R or Arara, O-Arara, A-I-M-A. And then you have Angel Falls, which is Ayun Tepu, Ayun dash Tepui. And then you have Pico da Neblina. Then you have Sarasaranama. And all of these, Sarah do Divisor High Ridges, and that's in Peru and Brazil. Mm. You can assemble multidisciplinary sources. So here's where you could get some disciplinary sources when you want to. This is just for my researchers. I'm giving everybody a roadmap if they want to get a research plan going together, so you could just get a better insight as to stuff that I was talking about, because it's profound. I just scratched the surface. It's some profound ish, and I'm telling you, I'm just coming from these places, and you know, the land, man, the rich land, the beautiful. I'm talking about breathtaking. When I say breathtakingly beautiful, I mean to the point where your heart, it will make your heart light. It is so beautiful. These foothills and these mountains and these mountainsides and everything. Simple life, simple life. You know, simple life. Yeah, Baba Kalindi was on Know the Ledge Radio, dropping that shit way back in the days, man. And yeah, he got me interested as well. Mm. But yeah, we're gonna leave it here. What I'll do, ladies and gentlemen, is in the description, I will have a link so you could go to the PDF and get all of the information that you need about the Andes. Is more than likely gonna be on Buy Me a Coffee as a free download. So I'll have the link in there because it's damn near 3 hours in, and we've been dropping a lot of information. We'll drop more. You know what I mean? We'll drop more. There's no lack of information going on right now, so we will get to more information. But I just wanted to, get you guys started. You know what I mean? I want us to experience this thing together. I didn't want to come back on some braggadocious shit because I was not on a vacation, y'all. As much as it might have looked like that, I was posting pictures and it was like, oh, you living your best life. I was like, yeah, nigga, until tonight. Well, man, it's throwing up, Erling. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it looked good, but nigga, it don't feel good. So, you gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy yourself when you going when you destroying yourself and to rebuild yourself. You could enjoy yourself. You could enjoy it, but it's gonna get dark outside in a little while. You gonna be ready? You know, you ready for that? Cause it is gonna get dark. So that's what it is. But guess what? In the darkness, you know what I'm talking about? It's heartache and pain. That's another thing. I fucks with some of these places because you know they're somewhat stuck in time. And I'm not actually mad at that because like our cab driver was bringing us to the airport and she was like playing all of the 80s classics, right? She didn't speak in no English. This was a they call it a negrita. And I don't like the term, but whatever. And the way that we were communicating was through the music, right? She knew the music. She ain't know a lick of English, but all of these 80 songs, we was playing that shit and just jamming, listening to it. You know, all of that stuff that we grew up on, the 70s babies and whatnot. You know what I mean? And as I'm listening to that old music, I'm like, yo, this is therapeutic too, man. You feel me? You know what I mean? Because it's like we listening to the oldies, and I look at outside the window, and the shit look like the 80s in a sense. It's like it's a little frozen in time, you know? But music is the universal language. I told them people before I left, right? There was a group of them. Let me see if I got the pictures, right? We'll do the pictures tomorrow. We'll do more pictures because, the pictures is on this phone that I'm using as a mic. I told them hire infinite because they was freestyling and shit. You know what I mean? They had a group of the of some of the Spaniards and whatnot, and they was doing a little freestyle. These are the acaros. These were the ones that was doing the icaros, which is basically the music that they play when you're on Aya, right? They have the music that the shaman said that the plants gave them the music. the music is beautiful. Okay, the music is beautiful. It's like, you know, the Spanish guitars and everything. So these dudes was freestyling at the end of the camp and whatnot. They was like, let's get in our rap bag and shit. So, you know, they doing a little freestyle. So I hop in there, I do my little thing, and then at the end I tell them, you know what hip hop means, right? And they're like, ¿Por qué? Why is PC? What do you mean? They looking at me, you know, body language. It's like you learn body language after a while. Like if you say something, the nigga just like, I don't know. So I say higher, repeat after me. Higher, higher, you know, because they straight higher, higher, infinite, power, healing, our people, yeah, nigga. Infinite power healing our people. This is the first time that they heard hip hop as that. But we said that shit like 4 times. And they understood what our culture was. Hombre. Yeah. They understood and they respected it. Because they never really heard the higher infinite power. Nobody broke it down like that. But when they understood it, yeah, they was like, I get it. I was like, you got it? They was like, yes. I was like, good. Stand on it. Higher infinite power healing our people. I said, that's my culture. You know what I'm saying? It's a global culture. That's what we represent. You dig? They got it. We are cultural ambassadors. Our culture is our exchange, ladies and gentlemen. Our culture is our exchange. We, the melanated blackamoors from northwest of Mexico, we could go anywhere around the world. And if you don't have $1 in your pocket, you got culture in your heart. You know what I mean? You could start running it up with that cultural exchange. You know what I'm talking about? Higher infinite power healing our people. Don't ever walk around in lack. Ye are rich. Let's go to this commercial and we up out of here. All right. V-Cell. You know what I mean? We taking over the Caribbean with the V-Cell, y'all. Check us out.
V-Cell in my cup, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by steam mouse. Flow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. V-Cell in my cup, I'm feeling right. Sip to the sunrise, dance to the night. From the ocean's kiss to your city lights. 21 flavors, pure health in every bite. Drip so clean, we're custom made. From reef to street, we elevate. Gold green gel, set the record straight. Nature in a bottle, that's a better way. Charge me up, no caffeine crash. Clean energy, steady splash. From skin to gut, yeah, we live from within. Wellness on 10, let the rhythm begin. Pour it up, pour it up. Feel the wave, body thanking me. Every save, ocean wisdom in this glass. V-Cell magic, see moss. V-Cell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by sea moss. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. Island breeze in the city maze. We're mineral rich in 1,000 ways. Immunity high like the summer rays. Hydrate the hustle, fuel your days. Berry, mango, ginger, lime. Pick your flow, your flavor, your time. Beauty and balance we redefine. Every little sip, align your shine. Pour it up, feel the way, body thanking me. Every sip, ocean wisdom in this glass. V-Cell magic, sea moss. V-Cell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by sea moss. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. From the coral choir to the heartbeat drum. Roots run deep where the wild tide hum. Real ones know where the glow comes from. V-Cell in the mix now, watch us.
Hey, V-Cell in a mix. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And Yeah, look out for Imaginarium. We are coming in February. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stretch the imagination for what we call Afro Futurism Month. Check us out.
In Brooklyn shadow, dreams come alive. At dawn's new light, let your spirit thrive. Breathing courage, let your strength ascend. Dark fire rise and let the power blend. Your aura's a beacon, luck finds its way. With bold steps forward, seize a new day. Shouted proud, success is my own fate. I'm glimmering now, it's time to elevate. I'm a magnet for dreams, success my claim. In sync with fortune, dancing in the game. Wealth cascades freely, triumph ignites, my heart's ready. Soaring to new heights, gentle it's a rhythm in your soul's beat. Fueling your drive, making goals complete. Your aura's a magnet, attracting sway. Dance with prosperity, night into day. Riches may flow, but spirit stands tall. Growth the reward, answering the call. Money's a vessel, clarity's the map. No rush needed, wealth's in your grasp. No need to scheme, to hustle or to plead. Just rise up strong, live in your creed. Don't chase, simply receive what's conceived. Feel the rhythm of wealth you're meant to achieve.
Yes. All right, Imaginarium. We are going to be taking all of our loftiest ideas. We are going to stretch our imagination for the month of February, Afro Futurism Month, my niggas. Tap in. You know what I'm talking about? I got an all-star lineup. We will be revealing it. Y'all, man, get ready, get ready, get ready. Imaginarium for the whole month of February, Afro Futurism Month. Y'all can play with Black History. We're gonna big up the Black History. We will be doing AI videos about all of the Black inventors from our past, great melanated Moors and whatnot, Black Moors from our past. We'll highlight them, but we got to take y'all into 2030, 3030, 3040, 4040. We're going into the future, man, because they try to stop us from being in the future. Now we understand retrocausality. We could change the past by changing the future. Talk black to me. We're going to put our people on the top of the Andes Mountains, my nigga. How about that? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's end this one the right way with the classic. You know what I'm saying? It's only right. We bring them back because we're in classic mode right now. Red and blue, purple like Prince. All right? Y'all stay dangerous.
Red and blue, purple like Prince. Red and blue, purple like Prince. Facts. Red and blue, purple like Prince. Red and blue, purple like Prince. Facts. You can get to know the legend. Sacrilegious Sunday to Melanin Monday. You can get to know the legend. My love, just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, if we don't put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts, we in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light. To the family. Peace, love and light. To the family.
These days
time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.